Hi, my name is Moire O'Sullivan and I am 3 times Irish adventure racing champion and author of Bump Biking. Baby! Are you being funny? My first must know is that training and racing post-pregnancy takes teamwork. In other words, you'll find it hard to just pop out for a run when there's a baby in the house. Whether you like it or not, babies take 24/7 care. If you have a partner, speak to them at this stage about how important training and racing is to you. Make sure they understand that you'll need their help to keep this part of your life going. If you don't have a conversation at this stage, there may be some resentment felt once the baby is born if your running is severely curtailed. Alternatively, investigate possible childcare options if you want to keep on running post-pregnancy. My second tip is if you want professional advice, engage it early. Most coaches don't want to take on pregnant ladies. I personally found it immensely helpful having a coach to guide me through my pregnancy and postnatal return to fitness. This is because when my children were born, I simply didn't have the time or the energy to figure out what training I should do and when I should do it. I also didn't have the expertise to spot potential postnatal problems. So, if you think you'll need guidance, engage it with it before you become pregnant, so that they are able to assist you through the whole process. The third thing to know is that pregnancy can actually boost a woman's endurance levels. Your ribcage expands when you're pregnant, which assists in breathing, and your heart's chamber capacity increases, allowing it to hold much more blood. Effectively, pregnancy mirrors the mechanism used when blood doping. Granted, there are other issues at play, such as weight gain and sleep deprivation, but there are definitely some physiological advantages of going through pregnancy. My first tip for runners who are going through pregnancy is to listen to your body. When an athlete becomes pregnant, the question they often ask is how much exercise can they do? A friend of mine said one of the best guides was just to listen to your body. Now, most athletes know their bodies quite well. They know when to push and when they need to back off. And there were definitely times during my own pregnancies when I knew that I was too tired or my belly was too big to keep on running. Another couple of guides is not to go beyond 80% of your max heart rate, not to let your core body temperature rise too much, and to keep well hydrated during exercise. My second tip is to strengthen your core and pelvic floor. Your core and pelvic floor will undergo real strain during pregnancy and childbirth and can lead to such things as incontinence, which is particularly unpleasant while running. Make sure you strengthen them as much as possible. There are a variety of safe exercises to do, such as planks for your core. Just make sure you don't lie flat on your back for long periods, especially after your first trimester. My third tip is to have a post-pregnancy goal. Pregnancy may only last 9 months, but sometimes that can feel like forever. I found it really helpful to have a post-pregnancy goal to keep focused on when I was feeling down or tired. A track cyclist friend of mine won a World Masters Track Championship title 4 months after giving birth. Because of her, I promised myself that I would do an adventure race a couple of months after my own first pregnancy. It wasn't pretty, but it definitely got me motivated to keep moving while pregnant and to get back training once Aaron was born. My first tip for runners post-pregnancy is to get a running buggy. As soon as your baby has enough head control, which is around the 6-month mark, they can go into a running buggy. I bought a Bob Revolution buggy that has a fixed front wheel so that it tracks in a straight line when you run and has wide tyres so that I could run off-road. Admittedly, these buggies can be quite expensive, retailing around the £400 mark. However, most parents only use them a couple of years, so there are often plenty of second-hand ones available in running clubs. My second tip is to sleep when your baby sleeps. One of the hardest things about having children is the lack of sleep. Newborns typically wake up every 2 to 3 hours to feed. The best advice I got was whenever your baby sleeps, even if this means having a brief lie down during the day, take it. Sleep. And if you're trying to get back running, it's important to get as much rest and recovery as possible. My third tip is that it's okay to breastfeed. So if you decide and are able to breastfeed, you don't have to stop doing so when training and racing. Just remember to give your baby a feed before you go for a run so that they aren't too hungry when you get back. Feeding them beforehand also means your breasts aren't too full of milk when you start your run. So there's less chance of getting a blocked milk duct and developing a very painful condition called mastitis. Also remember to wear a sports bra that keeps your bosom firmly in place while on the run.
My top 3 tips for partners of pregnant women to help them throughout the pregnancy are as follows. I think it's all about balance. I think the first thing is to be supportive, but not overbearing. So whenever Moire was pregnant, I would always ask her, what can I do to help? I avoided questions like, hey, have you got a run today? Or how long's your bike today? She didn't like those kind of questions. Secondly, I think it's important as a guy to enjoy the experience, but be aware that it's primarily the woman's experience. You're along for the ride, but it is a pretty interesting ride if you deal with it correctly. And my last recommendation is to buy a birthing gift. I offered Moire some kind of diamond jewelry. She went for bike rollers.